Another thing that I wanted to point out, and this is something that I noticed. I was in New York, I was in Manhattan a few days ago. Whenever I'm in a major city, I'm always looking around at tech gadget usage. Ooh, hoo, hoo. A lot of people wear wireless headphones. A lot of people. I didn't see one person wearing smart glasses, but I saw a lot of people wearing wireless headphones, mainly being those white earpods. And so if you're talking about what is something that Apple already has in terms of an active install base, devices out in the wild, they could start to say, okay, there's more we could be doing here. And we could start not only just pushing AirPods forward, but we can use AirPods to also improve the experiences found with headsets that we're going to launch in the future, where we're going to bring Apple Watch, where we're going to bring iPhone. I always like to come back to the point of the Apple ecosystem. It's rare if you're just focusing on one product and just saying, well, let's just take AirPods. Let's forget about everything else. Let's take AirPods and run. The secret sauce is, how do you push AirPods and then be able to use that to push the other devices? And I think that would be the goal. But yeah, I mean, everyone was wearing wireless headphones. That's the other thing that comes to mind. I remember, I think this was 3 years ago. I was in, I attended a graduation ceremony for one of my nieces. So I'm inside. It was like inside a school gymnasium. Would I call it formal? Not the most formal setting, but not informal. It was indoors. I'm looking around, and I saw some people in the audience. They had AirPods on. They had headphones on. And I remember saying to myself, that's a little bit interesting. Like, what's going on here? And it kind of occurred to me only after the fact. In the past, when people would wear those white earbuds or the AirPods and then the wireless AirPods, you look at that and you go, well, they're clearly listening to something on their iPhone. They're listening to music, they're listening to podcasts. I guess they just don't want to be where they are. And I said that it's a little bit weird to be listening or wearing that in a graduation. But it occurred to me, I think what's happening, these were younger people, they weren't necessarily adults. I think what's happening is the social norms surrounding wireless headphones have changed. And the reason for that is, wearing headphones does not mean anymore that you're listening to music. It doesn't mean you have music blasting in your ears. If I worked in an office setting and I had, say, an associate who was working on their computer and they have headphones on, you can't you shouldn't assume, oh, they can't hear what I'm saying, because what's happening now is people are using AirPods to improve their hearing. I mean, it's a great use case. But then there's just a simple point where you can put them in, have transparency, do adaptive audio. I mean, you're not you don't have to have your surrounding audio be blocked. What that's doing, and the reason why I think so many people are now starting to talk about, well, I wouldn't say so many, but the point is, I see it on social media. This idea of AirPods as an AI device, they're looking at what has already occurred from an adoption perspective, what is already considered acceptable from a culture perspective, wearing headphones, and not just on the street, not just on the subway, but in buildings, in stores, in schools, in businesses. That's powerful. And I think it not only does it reflect how AirPods as a product has evolved, so that it's not just delivering your favorite podcast, it's not just delivering Avalon as you're going in the office or in the gym, but it could actually be enhancing what you're hearing and from your surroundings. It could be giving you almost, again, I go back to this phrase, augmented hearing. This stuff is really fascinating to me. And I think that's why I gave this episode the headline, yes, AirPods are still being underestimated. There, I think the future runway here for AirPods is still long. I do not think we are near the end of that runway. And the only way forward is now you have to go into a different product category. I think there's a lot of interesting moving pieces here because not only do you have the adoption there, not only do you have social acceptance, cultural acceptance, but then you have Apple. Look at what they just did in September. Look what they did with the new iPhones. Apple Silicon, hardware optimization, hardware advancements. Those are obviously going to be leveraged in terms of future AirPods.